Today I'm going to go through changing the oil on a Honda Rancher DCT. DCT, everybody, remember that. DCT. It's different than a foot shift. It's different than an ES. Things you're going to need: some oil of your choice, a DCT specific filter, 17 millimeter socket, brake clean, towels, drain pan, all that good stuff. Before we start, I just want to go over a couple things. There's going to be differences between a DCT and the foot shift and ES. This is a DCT filter. I'm using a K&N in this instance. See, KN114, KN113. This is for a regular foot shift Rancher. So I just want you to see the difference in size. Totally different. We're going to start by removing the seat and this engine cover. Now that we have that off, I just like to go around and blow everything off with some compressed air, especially since I didn't wash this thing first. All right, on these DCTs, on the left side is your dipstick, and on the right side is the oil fill. So now we're underneath the machine, and right in line with like the floorboard is a hole here in the center. There's one offset, that's not the one. It's this one right in the center. And if I can get that camera in there, and my light, you can see right there's a 17 millimeter bolt. So we're gonna pop that bolt off and start to drain this. Get my fingers in there. And I did let this run for a couple minutes beforehand. There we go. And then make sure that the crush washer comes with the bolt, and that it's not stuck to the engine. As that's draining, I'm just gonna crack the dipstick open, loosen it here, and just kind of set it back on just so that can vent while it's draining. We're back over to the right-hand side. This is your filter housing. I like to spray it off with some brake cleaner, make sure everything's nice and clean before we even open this thing up. And it's also a good idea maybe get around your dipstick as well, or not dipstick, the filler hole. Just make sure that it's nice and clean. We don't want to get dirt and crap in there. You're also going to want to stuff a bunch of rags underneath here because it's going to leak some oil. Now we're going to remove these three 10 millimeter head bolts, and just be really careful. When you take this off, just pay really close attention to how everything was. It's really critical that you put it back the same way it was, assuming it was done right. But if it wasn't done right, it probably wouldn't be running long enough to need an oil change. So just pull these bolts out and be on our way. And they should all be the same length. Yeah, the bolts were all the same length, so now we got to try to get this off. Sometimes they stick a little. So I recommend just kind of holding it tight and wiggling it back and forth. Just keep working it. It's starting to get a little gap. We're going to just keep on working that until we get it off. Don't let it just spring out because it's got a spring in there. So just work it real slow. Try to avoid sticking a screwdriver in there or something. You probably don't want to do that. So just try to wiggle it. Okay, I lied about the screwdriver. I'm going to have to stick one in there. I'm just going to be real gentle and go over here by the ears and just kind of twist it back and forth. There we go. Now we're starting to leak. There we have it. As you can see, there's a spring here. And this says, on there it says outside on the filter. And I'll show you more on the manual how that works. Just going to pull the filter out. And then as you can see here, I'll show you again, outside towards filter cover. So this way it goes out. It's opposite on the ESs and the foot shifts, by the way. When you have the filter out, just make sure you clean out this housing and all the surfaces around it. Also clean out your filter cover. So I kind of cleaned it up somewhat. And when you pull your rags out of there, there's going to be oil everywhere, so maybe hit it with some brake clean or something. Just clean it up. There's going to be oil everywhere. Just want to prove my point here. I've had people correct me before, and I follow the manual. So on a DCT, it shows you put the filter where it says outside, and then the springs on the outside. It also says to replace this O-ring on the filter cover, but I don't have that, so I'm not going to listen there. But I am going to listen to this. If you put it in wrong, you're going to cause problems. Make sure you put it the way it says. So I took some oil and I lubed up this here, and I also lubed up the O-ring around the filter housing. So we're going to start with this. Push it in, and as you can see here, it says outside. You probably can't see it, but it says outside. And then this O-ring around here, the one I'm supposed to replace, but I didn't. It never leaks, but anyway, you're supposed to oil that. And don't forget your spring. So sometimes it's easier to get the spring started on here. Sometimes it's easier to get it on the housing. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of both and get it on there. Kind of look from the side, make sure that it's seated in there. And then this arrow, of course, goes up. So you just got to kind of wiggle this back and forth until your holes line up. And then start your screws by hand. Get a few threads in each one. Then slowly work your way around. Just tighten each one up a little bit. This one's really loose yet. Once to make contact, tighten this one a little, tighten this one a little, tighten this one a little, till they stop. And then we will torque it to spec. And that spec is 9 foot-pounds. Now we're ready to add the oil. Just kidding. We have to put the drain bolt back in. I just got an assortment pack of these crush washers. This one is the one that looks closest to me to fitting. So they're normally aluminum, but this copper one will work. If you don't have one of these, you can just use the old one. Just don't tell anyone. Just get this guy started by hand. And then I like to thread it in a few threads and then spray it with brake cleaner to get any crap out that's from underneath there. Then send her home gently. Okay, it's tight. And then the torque spec, I believe, was 18 foot-pounds, but I don't have my torque wrench with me, so right there, 18 foot-pounds. Now we're going to get to where we're adding oil. I want to talk about oil shortly here. I'm going to use Rotella T6. That's what I use on my Hondas with wet clutches. This, of course, has wet clutches because it's a DCT and it's a Honda. If you look at the book, here I will show you. Right there, it says Jasso MA. That's the standard of oil that we need to use that will perform with the wet clutches. So if you look at the Rotella, right there, MA, MA2. So Honda GN4 is going to say the same thing. Here's AMSOIL, for instance. Really good stuff, right? What does it say? It says MA, MA2. So the Rotella falls under that category. So that's what I'm going to use. Don't just use regular car oil that you would put in your car, because that Jasso MA, MA2 is nowhere to be found. If you're really worried about it, just use the Honda GN4. All right, now that I'm done whining, I'm going to pull out this fill cap. And the O-ring stayed on the block, but that's fine as long as it stays there. Just keep track of it. And then grab yourself a clean funnel and start adding your oil. So I'm not going to show you pouring oil into a funnel. You know what that looks like. Just to reference the owner's manual one more time, this calls for 3.8 quarts. Again, the DCT has way more oil than a foot shift or an ES. Well, not way more, but it holds more. I added about 3.5 quarts. I'm going to put the fill cap back in nice and tight. I'm going to go back around to the left-hand side, I guess driver's side, whatever. The whole thing's driver's side. And tighten the dipstick. Remember, I had that loose. Now we're going to fire it up. Let it run for a couple seconds. Always a good idea to check for leaks while it's running. So just sneak down underneath there and look for anything leaking. Nothing's leaking. Great. On the left side, we're at the dipstick. It ran for 30 seconds, shut it off. This is not going to be the end-all oil level check, but I just want to set it in there. So on Hondas, you always set it in. You don't thread it in all the way, so it's set in. and we have nothing on the dipstick. So I'm going to add a little bit more, but we also have to warm up the engine fully to get the proper level. It says right here, park on firm level surface. I made sure all the tires have the same air pressure. Start it, let it run 3 to 5 minutes. So we're going to do that here. Then we're going to wait 2 to 3 minutes and then check the dipstick. As it shows, you just set it in. It says right there, insert dipstick without screwing it in, and then remove it, check the oil level. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I let it run 3-4 minutes. It's been sitting for about 2. Going to unscrew the dipstick. And we got to wipe it off, don't even bother looking at it. Then you set it in, do not thread it in. Just set it in right there. And check your level. So, looks like we're right there between the hash marks, so we can call that good. But I'm going to end up adding just a couple more ounces. So I think I will end up right around the 3.8, closer to 4 quarts. But as long as you're between those 2 lines after the warm-up, you should be fine. I ended up adding a few more ounces. My jug of oil is pretty much empty. The Rotella, it's a gallon. So just shy of a gallon, which would be about around 3.8 quarts. So after adding that little bit more, I'm right up to the fill mark. That's where you want it. I mean, if you're OCD like me. And then just put your dipstick back in, put everything back together, and you're all done. And slap your cover back on and your seat, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.